Welcome to MTB Lists. My name is Sean Ouellette. This episode we're going to be counting down the top 5 Stevie Chainsaw Smith moments. Before I get started on this video, I would like to express my deepest sympathies for the Smith family. Steve Smith was considered Canada's fastest downhill mountain bike rider and definitely had the hardware to back that up. We tragically lost Chainsaw at the age of 26 due to an enduro motorcycle accident. The Smith family has created a Steve Smith Legacy Fund to help support young Canadian riders. If you'd like to donate, I will leave the link in the description below. I have dedicated this list in the memory of Chainsaw in hopes to keep his legacy alive and strong. Now let's get into the top 5 Chainsaw moments. Starting the list is his downhill Canadian Open win in 2013. I have this at number 5 due to the fact that it was his third consecutive year winning this race. Not only did this finish solidify his place as Canada's top rider, but it also showed the consistency that Smith possessed when healthy. This win helped foreshadow what Chainsaw had in store for the rest of the 2013 season, which was one for the record books. Fourth place is reserved for his 2013 win at Hafjell. I have this race at number 4 due to the amount of pressure that Stevie had on himself to keep his hopes for an overall title alive. He was also able to put a ton of pressure on current leader G. Atherton throughout the season. This was a very intense race that saw Smith put in a near-perfect run. Smith had Norway on the edge of their seats with a combination of super technical lines and flat-out speed. This was one of the most epic races I've ever seen, and it really helped set up what would be an epic finish to the season in Leogang. Third place goes to his first ever World Cup win at the 2012 Hafjell World Cup in Norway. Smith was confident going into Norway as he had his best finish ever the week before with a second at Wyndham on the east coast of the USA. He qualified for the race in first, but did not let the pressure get to him. He beat his then teammate George Brannigan by less than half a second and secured his name in mountain bike history as the first Canadian to win a UCI downhill race in over a decade. Second place has to be his 2013 win at Mont-Sainte-Anne in front of a Canadian crowd. This race was a real nail-biter as a Smith fan. He was less than a second behind on 2 split times, which means that he had a near-perfect ending to his race to make up those split times. There was some rain at the top of the hill that worried Smith on how he would perform and if he chose the right tires at the time. He put all these worries behind him and centered the course with an all-or-nothing attitude that definitely paid off. Smith looked back when he crossed the finish line and saw green, which meant he had done it. To get a win on home soil was a huge success, something that could only be exceeded by one moment in his career, and that moment is my number 1 spot on the Steve Smith list. Before I reveal the top spot on my list, I would like to highlight some honorable mentions that didn't quite make my list. The first honorable mention is Stevie's second place finish at the 2016 Lord's World Cup. I was super pumped to see Stevie start the year with a second place finish. Smith struggled with injuries the 2 previous seasons, which basically eliminated him from contention. To see him take a second place, only 2.5 seconds behind Gwyn, I really thought this was going to be a special year for Smith. The resiliency to rehab and stay focused after 2 disappointing years just goes to show how dedicated Smith was to the sport, something that could be admired no matter what sport or activity you play. Another honorable mention was his second place at the 2012 Wyndham downhill race. Stevie had been on podiums previously in his career, but had never had a top 3 finish before. This race foreshadowed what he would be able to accomplish in the years to come and really set a precedent for what to expect from the Chainsaw. Without further ado, the number 1 spot was his win at Leogang to secure the 2013 UCI Downhill Overall Championship. Stevie Smith secured himself as the first Canadian to ever win an overall championship in UCI Downhill World Cup history. However, this was no easy task. G. Atherton led in points for every race until the final bout of the year. The two were locked in an epic battle the whole season, and G must be congratulated for his sportsmanship when Smith won the race. It might go down as one of the most exciting battles in UCI history, and G should be proud to have been a part of it. For Smith, a Canadian, to win the overall title, it truly was an inspirational moment for all fans, but especially us Canucks. We had seen Great Britain and USA dominate for so long that it was amazing to see Smith bring home the gold for Canada, a country that is rich in its mountain bike history and national pride. Thank you, Stevie Smith, for everything you've done for this country and for the sport. We love you and will keep your legacy alive. Ride in peace, brother.